right now without hitting a paywall. That's exactly what happens every day at worldviewtube.com because of the Worldview Weekend Foundation. We don't lock our live stream behind PayPal. We don't restrict our content to members only. Instead, the Worldview Weekend Foundation helps cover the cost of delivering free educational and ministry programming to people across the nation and around the world. And it's not just programming. My Sunday night church service, where I taught verse by verse through Revelation for 18 months, and now I am teaching through the book of Daniel, is made possible through the support of our church, Worldview Weekend Foundation. If you believe this kind of truth-centered biblical teaching must continue, donate today. Go now to worldviewfoundation.com. You'll also find our mailing address and phone number there if you'd rather give by phone or mail. That's worldviewfoundation.com. Thank you.
Welcome to Vox Populi News. This is the third video episode in the Islam Q&A series. I have the amazing Miss Aynaz, Anni Cyrus, with me. Thank you for being with me again today, Aynaz. How are you?
I'm great. Always a pleasure, Farrah.
I love talking to you, and you know what? Everybody else apparently likes to hear our conversations because I get countless emails and messages and YouTube comments about when are you guys going to release another video, and we've been sharing it. So thank you very much for all your support. In terms of helping out, I know a lot of people have asked about that. You can donate to Vox Populi News. That we have a little donate tab right next to that. None of us are paid. This is all volunteer. So if you can donate whatever it is, $5, $10, it goes to equipment, it goes to programs, it goes to try and produce better stuff on our website. But you can also go to Aynaz's Live Up to Freedom. Go to Live Up to Freedom. You're going to see the website right here. And you can donate for her as well. And it's all going to go to stuff for like personal safety and equipment and other stuff that she needs and we all need, really. So that's definitely one way that you can help out. So if you'd like to, go ahead and you can donate it. We are not a 501c3, so unfortunately it's not tax deductible, but we do appreciate it very much. Okay, so today we have 4 questions, and we decided to keep them light. So I picked some 4 lighter questions that are more personal to Aynaz and I, so you guys can have a little bit more information about us. The first question, and Miss Aynaz, if you can go ahead and give your answer to it. Are you afraid at all that Islam will rule America in the next 5 years if a Democrat wins?
Actually, I am afraid it's going to happen within the next year, not 5 years. And the reason I'm afraid of that, and that's the reason I put a timeline on it, Farrah, is that there's a year left for Obama. And he has a mission to accomplish. He took an oath, and the oath, I'm not referring to where he took an oath of becoming a president. Now I'm talking about the oath he took with the Muslim Brotherhood. This is their only window. This is their only opportunity. So they're going to accomplish that. And the reason I said they will accomplish is, unfortunately, we are divided. I don't ever think that this country was divided as it is today. We are so busy picking on each other and hating each other. We're not seeing the bigger picture that the enemy is going far and fast. So to my personal opinion, it's going to happen within next year unless we decide to come together, get the education needed. Again, we were just talking about this before we started, that a lot of organizations like CARE, they are using Americans who are uneducated on Islam to just further their agenda. So we need to get educated and we need to come together. Otherwise, within next year, there will not be an election next year. There will be just Islamic society going on. That's my opinion.
I agree with you. I don't have a fear of it being in the next year. Islam is already here. As far as I can see, and based on my opinion, again, America is already starting to become Sharia compliant. You have many courts in the United States that are using Sharia law, not American laws. That's the reason that organizations such as Act for America have introduced bills like ALAC, American Laws for American Courts. You would think that we wouldn't need something like that in America, but it is happening. When you have, and I'm not even going to blame it all on Obama, because this started with George W. Bush, with President Bush, when he kept repeating the rhetoric of Islam is peace and all of that crap, really, because there's no other word for it. That is when America became slowly but surely is becoming Sharia compliant. When you have things like House Resolution 569 that condemns hateful speech against Islam or Muslims, the conversation that Aynaz and I are having right now could become illegal. And I'm pretty sure that people like John Adams and Thomas Jefferson and a lot more of our forefathers are rolling in their graves as we speak, or looking down upon us from heaven and shaking their heads and saying that it all went to waste on the day that our representatives would even consider bringing up such a bill. It's disgusting, it's a disgrace, and it's Sharia. Doesn't matter if the people that introduced it are Muslim or not. It is Sharia to make it illegal to criticize Islam. Doesn't matter who's doing the work. Obama, Representative Beyer from Virginia, whoever co-sponsored that bill, it doesn't matter if they're Muslims or not. They're doing the work. Let me see. Do you trust Muslims, or are all of your friends non-Muslims? That's an interesting question. I've never asked you that, Aynaz. Do you have any Muslim friends?
No, I don't. I do have Iranian friends who are in the same shoes as mine. They were born in Iran, so automatically labeled Muslim, but they don't practice Islam, but they're very familiar with it, just like I am. But I don't. Main reason that I don't have Muslim friends is that, one, I'm sorry for saying this, but you know how I am. I tell it as it is. I do believe a person who bows to Islam and becomes a Muslim and calls themselves a Muslim are basically mentally challenged. And I do not like to lower my intelligence by, associating myself with people who don't have enough IQ to realize this is not a religion to follow. That's my main reason. And I also don't have enough time to want to sit there and debate with a friend over if this is peaceful or not, or over my experiences with just bad experiences and all that, little stuff that comes with the company of a Muslim. So that's my case of not having Muslim friends.
Do you trust Muslims?
I don't. No. Because as you mentioned on our first question and answer, they're ticking bomb. I don't know when they're going to go ahead and stab me in the back and try to either convert me or kill me. So, no, I don't trust them.
I am with you. I'm in the same boat. You're right. They're a ticking time bomb. You never know who their loyalties lies with. I don't even go into Arab or Persian, Iranian, whatever you want to call it, any restaurant or supermarket that has any kind of association with that part of the world. I don't go into it. I don't know if somebody's going to recognize my face. I know that I haven't told a lot of my story, but my family is very prominent in the Middle East, and just about everybody knows this. And that's pretty much how it is throughout, because they're very tight-knit communities, and everybody's in everybody's business, and it's annoying. But no, I don't trust Muslims. I don't trust them as friends because in the end of the day, their loyalty is to their God and to their prophet. And if they're non-practicing Muslims, then they need to relinquish that title of a Muslim. Otherwise, they're as useless to me as a friend. But so no, I have no Muslim friends. And it's actually hard to just make any friends whatsoever, because you kind of like, for me at least, I don't know about you, Aynaz, but for me, it was always, lie about your name, lie about your last name, lie about your history, where you came from, so nobody can trace you, nobody can find out who you are. It's only recently that I've suffered from the affliction of honesty. Just as a joke. But before that, it was really difficult to maintain contact with anyone. And if anybody else who I know has ties to Muslims, I do not communicate with them. I do not tie in with them. Don't want to have anything to do with them. The third question, why do they all hate Jews so much? That is a big question.
Oh, that is a huge question. Where do I begin? Oh boy. Well, I'm going to go for the point of view where I always go with, the Islamic Republic of Iran and Shia point of view. So, the number one is that by Islam, by Quran, Jewish people are not even people. And I apologize, I'm just quoting. I always say that, I'm like, just because I say it, it does not mean I believe it. No, not at all. I actually respect everyone. But this is what is taught to Iranian people in Iran, that Jewish people are not even people. They count as haram or unlawful. And you're not allowed to be friends with them. You see them, you kill them. That's a policy. In Iran, there are so many people who, if you ask them, they will tell you that if I spot a person who's a Jewish, I will kill them so I get a reward from the government. So to that extreme, it's a brainwashed system. We never get the exact, you never, on your educational system in Iran, you can ask the question, but you just get that, you take the word of Allah and you don't question Allah in answer. But so you can't really ask why. But the bottom line of it is, Jewish people never bow to Islam or Allah or Muhammad, and they try to fight back for their own religion. And moving forward to a little bit of more modern time, the problem between Palestine and Israel pops up. And obviously Iran is an ally of Palestine, so automatically you have to hate the Israeli people because they are invading the poor Palestinian people, even though Palestinian people are the ones who are getting, blowing themselves up all day, but Israeli people are the bad ones. So that's the main reason, as point of view of where I grew up and what they were teaching us, as far as why it's basically a duty to hate them. Because one, they're not human. Two, they are invading Muslim countries. They're invading Muslim people. And also back in a time of 1400 years ago, they never followed or bowed to Muhammad and Allah. So they're basically out of control.
This is the exact same teaching, but I want to go back to something you said that was very interesting. Before I go back to my answer to that question, Iran is allied with Palestine, even though Palestinians are predominantly Sunni, and Iran is Shi'a. And this is the concept that people need to wrap their heads around, because I know it's very difficult when you have CNN and Fox and everybody else telling you that the Shi'a, the Iranian Revolutionary Army, is actually fighting with Russia against ISIS. When it comes to Palestine, there is no disagreement by any Muslim around the world, from any sect, from any school. Any two Muslims will get together and they will kill a Jew. Doesn't matter if they want to kill each other afterwards. You agree, Aynaz, to that?
Oh yeah.
They will unite to kill the Jew, and they consider Israel to be an occupation force, and we can tackle the Israel-Palestine situation later on, because I have Hebrew heritage, and my parents actually still to this day, my mother identifies as Palestinian. So we will talk about that catastrophe another day. But Jews, it goes back to when Muhammad was a child, in my opinion. When Muhammad was about anywhere between 10 and 13 years old, his uncle, Abu Talib, used to take him on his merchant caravans, their business caravans, to go and trade with Syria, somewhat into Turkey. The borders were not defined at that time. And on one of their trips, they met an excommunicated monk or priest from the Catholic Church called Baheda. Baheda is the one that planted that seed of belief in Muhammad's mind that he one day is going to be a prophet, and this is according to Sunni doctrine. He also told Muhammad that not only will he be a prophet of God, but that he would also be killed by the Jews, and that the Jews and the Christians will, haunt him his entire life and try to kill him. And this is where I think Muhammad's psychosis and his psychotic episodes came from when it came in regards to the Jews. He's always been very touchy about the Jews, always went out and killed them first before they even had an idea in their head to attack them. And that's where the hate for the Jews comes from. Now, of course, in the Quran it talks about, God, he cursed the Jews into becoming monkeys or apes and swine as punishment for them. The Quran also talks about, and Muhammad talked several times about the Jews being the killers of the prophets, and that once upon a time, yes, they used to be God's people, but now they're the cursed people. Also in Islam, it talks about the judgment day will not come until trees and stones and everything else start speaking to Muslims and telling them where the Jews are hiding so the Muslims can kill them. So the Quran provides its own prophecies about Judgment Day. A big, huge, monumental part of it is the murder of all of the Jews. Is that any different with the Shia, Aynaz?
No, it's pretty much the same. That's why at the beginning I said by Quran. They don't count. It goes back to where, Allah can change his mind at any moment. So he basically changed his mind that I don't like Jewish people anymore and I'm going to curse them. So no, it's all the same.
Okay. So the final question, is it true that they all hate dogs? Ever since I was about 10, 11 years old, I've always wanted to take a chihuahua and throw it into a mosque and watch the panic. Just a little itty bitty chihuahua. Just throw it into a mosque. I don't really know. I've never done any research into it in the Quran and in the Hadith. I learned about it when I was a kid. Muhammad did not like dogs. Personally, I think he was just afraid of them because they didn't like him either. And dogs are good judges of character. I think we can all agree to that. But they say that the saliva of the dog is inherently evil and dirty, and so they don't want it around their houses or around their prayer rugs, and that's the main thing. They don't want it around the prayer rugs, they don't want it around the Quran, and they don't want it around their scarf and the clothing that they wear. So they do have dogs. Usually, from what I have seen, my experience, they treat them like crap. Sometimes they tie them outside of the house, way, way far away from the house. But there is nobody who walks around with, their little pets or treats them like animals should be treated, with humanity and decency. I don't know how it is in Iran.
Well, again, in Iran, by law, it's illegal to have dogs. It's even illegal to have any animal. You can't have pets. In Iran, cats counts the same. Like if you see or touch a cat, then you have to go to do the whole wash up. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what it is called in English, but you wash yourself and do the prayer so God will forgive you and you become halal again. But Iranian people do have pets, but a lot of them, what happened is that if your neighbor is a Muslim, practicing Muslim, and they call the cops, they come in, they shoot your dog, they walk away. So yeah, it's pretty much by law of Iran, it's illegal on the streets. Even if there are dogs, just the street dogs, and they're walking, then they shoot them, they kill them, and they are exactly the same thing. The saliva in their mouth is completely unlawful, and it's just forbidden. And if it gets anywhere near you or your prayer in Quran, same thing you said, pretty much come from that too.
There's a special wudu or ghusl or wash up that you do when you touch a dog. I remember something about dirt. You have to take dirt and wash your hands with dirt 3 times to make sure that the saliva of the dog came off of your hands. So again, it doesn't make any sense. Dogs are God's gift to the world, I think. Personally, I have 3 dogs at the moment. One of them is a pit bull, and they're all sweethearts. So personally, I love dogs. But I have a question for you, Aynaz, and this is going to be interesting. I've noticed, in my experience, I have not met one ex-Muslim who did not become pro-Israel. It's funny because we are raised, all of us are raised, to hate the Jews. Allahu Akbar, go kill the Jew. The latest intifada in Israel or against Israel was the knife intifada, where we saw 14, 11-year-old children going out after Jews to kill them. The reason being is that their parents are rotten and want to be the parents of the martyrs because they get a good social standing in that. And if they're parents of the martyrs, then they'll get all of the social benefits of it. So, of course, send off little Muhammad to go kill Dawood or David or whatever it is. But I have not met one ex-Muslim who did not become extremely pro-Israel after leaving Islam. Has that been your experience as well?
Yes, and I actually know about maybe 35 to 40% of Iranians who are living in Iran today are actually pro-Israel. They haven't even left the country yet. They haven't had their hands to read the reality, but they're just simply using their logic. I was one of them, actually. One day I'm like, okay, there's this day in Iran, Fourth Day, where we, as I told you, we recreate everything. So it's a recreation of the day, and people come, soldiers come dressing as Palestinians and all in blood, and then we have people mimicking the Jewish people and all that, charade. And one day I'm standing, I'm like, hold on, logic. So I don't know history at all. I don't know, whatever you say makes sense, but hold on, if these people are good people, which is Palestinians, and Jewish are bad people, I use the same logic you just said. Like, hold on, we're Shia and they're Sunni, and you kill Sunni people in Iran. If you're a Sunni in Iran, you're executed, right? But then why are we friends with them? And that has started the whole question in my head. Using logic, even before I leave Iran, I was pro-Israel. Like, logically, something is fishy, and if it's fishy, when it comes from Iran government, if it's fishy, that means it's definitely a lie. So automatically flip. So not just ex-Muslims, a lot of people in Iran who are officially still Muslim and wear the hijab and do the prayer, they're already pro-Israel.
And Islam's claim, again, we will cover this in another episode because this is a question I get often. I haven't gotten it for the submissions part yet for this show, but we get that question often as to whether or not we are pro-Israel. When you look at Israel, it is the only country in the Middle East with any kinds of women's rights, children's rights. When it comes to Muslims, Christians, Jews, Hindus, anybody, you are free to practice your religion. Nobody's going to come after you and kill you. Women, we can wear whatever we want, dress our hair whatever which way we want, and walk in Israel and be free. So yeah, I'll take that over Iran or Saudi Arabia, or Lebanon, Jordan, whatever it is. I'll take Israel over that. But not only that, when you come to look at the claim of Islam on Israel, they say it's their holy land. And I'm going to go into the story real quick, and Aynaz, you can tell me if it's a different story for the Shi'a. Muhammad's only miracle, practically. Oh, first of all, any miracle that he claimed to have had, Aynaz is laughing, any miracle that he claimed to have had, every other prophet does miracles for the masses. Moses split the sea, Jacob, Israel, Joseph, all of them did miracles that are documented. Everybody saw it. Muhammad's the only one who does miracles when nobody else is around. Not a soul. Not one person who saw what he did.
He was a very private man. Come on.
Yeah, he's so private that we know about how he fondled his wives when they were on their periods. That's disgusting. It's in there. It's in the hadith. Open up your books. But we're not going to talk about that. So, one night when Muhammad was sleeping, the angel came to him and he rode a flying mule from Saudi Arabia to Jerusalem. At which point, the flying mule landed on top of the Temple Mount. From there, he proceeded to go up to the heavens and see God and talk to God and Abraham and Moses and the whole gang. I mean, he met the entire family. Then he proceeded to come back down to earth, go back to sleep, and then when he woke up the next day, he told everyone about his spectacular adventure. That's the only claim they have, is that once upon a time, their prophet without a prophecy went to Jerusalem on the back of a flipping unicorn. That's it. That's it. This is why they send their kids off to kill the Jews. That's the whole story. When the Muslims invaded the Holy Land, after Muhammad died, they invaded the Holy Land and they did their conquest. They supposedly respected all religions. That's what Muslims will tell you. They built their mosque on top of the Jewish Temple Mount. The entire land. They didn't find a more fitting place than where the Jews have their own Temple Mount. But hey, maybe it's just my opinion. Maybe it is realistic to think that a prophet would take a freaking flying mule somewhere when nobody else is watching. Is your story any different from the Shia side? Maybe the unicorn farted rainbows.
No, actually, the unicorn was the same as you said, but think about it. I hate this. I had to say this, by the way, because of this new video of this Muslim woman keeps saying things, and it's like, think about it. I'm like, I am thinking about it. Sidetrack real quick. She mentions how you guys are twisting Islam and you call it rape, but think about it. Your husband is doing everything for you. The least you can do is let him have sex with you whenever he wishes. I'm like, I have thought about it. I don't need to think about it again. I don't care how much the husband's doing what. At the end of the day, this is my body, my control should back up. But anyways, but if you do think about it.
Think about it.
This is exactly, I hate that phrase now, but the story of Muhammad and, the Holy Land and all, it's the same thing as Mecca. The first time I was explained why do I have to stand to that specific direction and do my prayer in Arabic, the first question I said is like, hold on, Allah is in that little square thingy? And my mom was like, shut up. I'm like, you said it. It's like, no, that is it. I'm like, oh, okay. So if your Allah is everywhere, why do I have to face that specific little square? And I heard the same ridiculous fairy tale about how Mecca was built. And I'm like, huh? So, as you said, it might be your opinion, but at the end of the day, everything, every symbol, every explanation, including the Prophet, including their Allah, I'm going to go as far as saying that it's all a bunch of fantasy. There is no logical way, there is no way a 2 and 2 would come off as a 4 to this whole Islamic story that's been made up. It doesn't matter as a point of view of Shia or Sunni. It doesn't matter from the oldest person to the youngest person, to books, to just the stories. However you look at it, first of all, there is so much of mismatch going on. It just, for some reason, every year in Iran, when the Dini book, which is the religion book, comes out, you compare. We actually did that for 3 years. We had people from Iran to send us the books of Dini, and we would sit there hours and compare it. And everything kept changing time-wise. I'm like, hold on. 2 years ago, it was on this day, on this time, and then a year later, it changed. For some reason, Muhammad was there at a different location at a different time. They can't even put their story together.
Well,
Nothing matches nothing.
everything is a misconception, and we're twisting it, and it changes throughout time. The freaking religion's been around for about 1400 years. You'd think some things would be solid. There's a lot of huge scandals when it comes to Islam, like Muhammad's mother. Supposedly, when it comes to the timeline, his father died, 4 years before she gave birth to him. Now, some Muslim scholars will tell you that this is one of the marjizat, or one of the miracles of Muhammad, that he managed to stay in his mother's womb for 4 years. Instead of just saying that he maybe was not his father's son, maybe he was somebody else's son. But everything comes out to be, oh, it's another miracle that happened when nobody was keeping track and nobody was around. And if it's unexplainable, then it's a miracle.
I was just about to say, anything that if you catch a Muslim on any of those misplacement of the timing and the story, they will fast turn it into, oh, it was one of his miracles. How many miracles? That's the thing. And once I actually asked, somebody got into a debate, so-called, which I called argument with me, and I got to the point, I'm like, okay, hold your horses. How about this? Show me the actual source where his miracles are published. And it's like, they were so many, nobody could remember them all. And I'm like, well, that's a very reasonable reason, and I'm convinced. I have never been convinced in my life so
Just
clear.
think about it.
Think about it, exactly. Just think about it. Okay, so
it's not hidden. Prophet Muhammad, I refuse to call him that, is the only prophet without a single prophecy and without a single miracle. Nothing. Zilch.
He was a miracle himself.
Yeah, him himself was a miracle. It's a miracle, the stupidity of people at that time, and still resonates today. This is the reason I don't believe in evolution. Because there were stupid people 1400 years ago that followed Muhammad, and there's still stupid people today that follow him. Therefore, evolution never happened. It's a flawed theory right there. Oh my goodness.
What's the sad part? The number of stupid people following him today is actually much more than 1400 years ago.
Yeah,
when he was.
And they talk about it and they say Islam is the fastest growing religion, and that's true. It is. But over 60% of Islam's growth is from breeding. It's not from converting. It's not because people are converting. It's because when you have one man and at least 4 wives, and then ma malakat aymanuhum, which means what their right hand possesses, which means slaves, sex slaves, maids, you're going to breed a lot. So that's why they're the highest or the fastest growing religion. But when you talk about people actually converting, the highest rate is, I believe it goes to atheism, even though that's not a religion, but still a belief system, because it's a belief of non-belief. Think about it. That's going to be your theme. Think about it. And after that, it's followed by Christianity, in terms of people converting. And in fact, there's a huge rate of Muslims converting to Christianity that the Muslims don't want you to know about. But the stories are out there, and of course there's always, the whole if you convert, you're going to get killed thing. So while Christians and Jews and atheists can convert to Islam and feel free to live as Allah's slaves, any Muslim who converts, off with his head. So you're not going to hear about it a lot. But that was our episode for today. Any concluding comments you'd like to add, Annie?
Yes, as always, please stop your bubble of denial. Snap out of it. In reality, me and Farrah are actually very concerned today. This is happening and it shouldn't be happening. There's so much more that you need to know. Please stop tuning into your network of cable. Try to follow more of social media videos that you will actually get the reality out of them. Try to volunteer your time. It's just way too much for 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 people to carry and do. So we can't move forward because we have just too much to cover today that there is no planning of tomorrow. And as far as the beginning, if you can possibly back us with some financial help, even $1, believe it or not, every penny can help us get farther and farther. We are literally watching our freedom fade away. This is not some sort of paranoia. This is not some sort of story like Muhammad's miracle. This is the reality of what's happening. So reach out, try to give us as much help as you can, and try to get yourself educated. They are lying to you every moment of every day. And that should do it for me.
Hey, get educated, get involved. We're looking for volunteers every single day. If you can't donate financially, please get involved with your time. This is our lives. This is everything. This is what we do every day. We have programs on our computers to scramble our IP addresses. Phone numbers are constantly changing. Like I said before, markets we don't go to, places we stay, and that's fine. That's a price we're willing to pay. But in order for our message to get out, don't just like this video. Subscribe, share it, donate your time, donate whatever funds you might have, talents you might have. If you're really good at doing one particular thing, if you have a gift for it, contact us. Let us know. Everyone's help is possible. If you know how to pick up the phone and call people and you're not intimidated by it, we need your help. If you know how to share videos in different groups and make sure the videos go out, we need your help. If you know how to contact different media personnel, we need your help. Anything. If you know how to print flyers, if you know how to produce a video, if you know how to produce a podcast, if you know how to write, if you're a good speaker, if you're shy but you're really good on computers, everybody's talent is wanted. And if you don't want to donate your time and you want to throw $5-10, whatever you want to throw, do that as well. There's not a lack of ways that you can help. We get that question all the time. How can we help? How can we help? How can we help? This is how you can help. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our website is voxpopuli.news.net. Aynaz's website is going to show up right here at Live Up to Freedom. We both do several different things, and we're very, very busy. We have several radio interviews. Our videos are hopefully going to start coming out on a regular time, on a regular day, and we'll keep you updated on that. But go to voxpopuli.news.net, share what you've learned today. Go and get educated yourself. Verify it. We're going to give you all the links that you need under this video, but verify everything you learned. Don't take our word for it. Get your own conviction. Aynaz, thank you so much for being with me today. It's been a blast.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me back on again.
All right, we will see you again next week, and have a great day. Welcome to Vox Populi News. This is the 4th episode of the Islam Q&A, and with me today I have the amazing Aynaz Anni Cyrus to give you all of the Shi'a answers to your questions, and as usual I will give you the Sunni answers to your questions, and that way you have a good rounded up answer to everything concerning Islam. Today we're actually only going to tackle 3 questions. We're going to try and keep it very short and condensed for our viewers. Continue to submit your questions to submissions@voxpopulinews.net. Submissions@voxpopulinews.net, and we will answer everybody's questions. I know we have a ton of questions we have not gotten to yet, but we will get to everyone's question. Annie, are you ready for the 4th episode?
Oh, I'm ready.
This is so exciting. People are loving the episodes. The questions are pouring in, and you've been a tremendous help on this. So I really do appreciate you being here.
Oh, absolutely. It's a pleasure. But you know what's the interesting part? Somebody sent me a message last week saying, I've been watching every episode. And it's very interesting because you both give the different aspect of Shia and Sunni, and it still sounds the same to me. I'm like, exactly.
Yes. It is. It's the flip side of the coin. So let's get to the first question. I'm reading it here. Do you believe that Islam is the one world religion? I know and understand it is an ideology and not a religion that is spoken of in the Bible, which will dominate during the end times. So, what do you think, Annie? Big question.
I'm sorry, that was. I don't know who asked that question, but as you all know, I don't get into any comparison. I don't talk about what's said on Bible, but what I know is yes, it is not a religion; it's an ideology. And if you do know that, you shouldn't even ask that question. However, if you decided to ask, no, it is not. They might try, but I can say there are more than enough people who are educated enough or starting to be educated that they will not let such a ideology be the end of the word ideology to kill people. So I don't agree, and I don't think it is. Do I think they're trying and they're going for it? Yes, because I know within Quran it does say everybody is born in Muhammadan, everybody is a Muslim, and until the day everyone has either come back, converted, submit, or died, there will not be an end to this war. But that's just one of those, the stories we were talking about in the last episode. It's just a fantasy. But that's what they're trying for. But I do not see it happening. No, I don't.
It is an interesting question. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about it, and there's a lot of videos about end time prophecies. Muslims have their end time prophecies, Christians have their end time prophecies, Jews have their end time prophecies. If you look at Christianity and Islam, a lot of the prophecies actually match, but on two different teams. So Christian prophecies and Islamic prophecies do match on some level, but they're not both playing for the same team. It's just like Islam is the opposite of what Christians believe. I just confused myself saying that.
Let me jump in real quick because I get a feeling that just as soon as you said that, at least 100 heads were like, what? The reason she says this is because Islam basically stole everything within Bible, twisted around, turned it into their own prophet. She doesn't mean Islam and Christianity is the same. Don't get us wrong. She's just trying to let you know that you will hear a lot of familiar sounds in there, but it's just because Muhammad back then was a brilliant man who came and said, how can I trick people? I'm going to steal whatever is in Bible, I'm going to twist it to Allah's name and my own agenda, and I'm going to hand it to people. That's what she said. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. What you have to understand is that Quraysh, which is now known as Mecca, where Muhammad came from, was the beacon of multiculturalism and multi-religions. They were polytheists, and they had several gods, and Christians and Jews and the pagans all were together inside the Kaaba, the black square cube thing that's in Mecca that all Muslims pray to. And then they want to say that they don't have idols, but that's a subject for another day. Inside of it was a statue of the Virgin Mary and a picture of Jesus back in Muhammad's time. They considered them one of their gods. So these are not stories that he just figured out from Gabriel. These are stories that were there. Plus, we also talked about him talking to Bahira, the excommunicated Christian monk who, was on the border of Syria, somewhere in there, when he was about 13 years old. But I don't think Islam is the one religion. The one thing that terrifies me personally is Chrislam. Chrislam is this new thing where they combine Christianity and Islam, two contradicting doctrines that are really just, I don't know how you would merge them together. And that is, it's not completely out there. Berlin, I believe BBC News had said that they are building the first, I don't know if you know about this, Aynaz, they're building the first all-in-one mosque, synagogue, and church all in one building in Berlin.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's happening. Also, Chrislam is a very dangerous thing, and I think that Chrislam might be the one world religion that they're all trying to achieve. See, Muslims don't care. They will go into Chrislam and they will say, yeah, we approve of it. But that's just one foot in the door. Once they do that, if Chrislam takes over, then after they take over, then it'll be like all enforcing Islam. Muslims have no problem putting one foot in the door and then waiting for the other foot to go in. They don't have a problem with that. They'll do that. That's what they have done. But that's my answer. But a lot of times when we're talking about prophecies, like there's a prophecy in the Bible that, and I'm not very good at these things, but it talks about the mark of the evil one, and it talks about a mark on the head or on the wrist. That's where they will have their mark. And I've always thought, Aynaz, the second episode, we talked about Muslims when they're praying, they like to have that mark on their forehead, the mark of the beast. That's what it's called. The mark on the forehead matches what the mark of the beast is. So that's something that I find interesting, and that's what I mean when I say that a lot of the prophecies do match, but it's kind of like they're playing for opposite sides. Second question. Could you cite acts of violence by Muslims who are following Sharia that have taken place here in the United States that we should all be aware of, but mainstream media has been hush-hush about? I ask because I have not heard about a lot of that going on here. If there isn't any, why do you think that is? Do you think they're waiting for something like House Resolution 569? We're going to tackle this question. This is the reason we have 3 questions, not 4 this episode. We're going to tackle this question in 2 parts. The first one is going to be acts of violence by Muslims. Annie, do you want to take the first hit at this?
Yeah. I've been thinking about this for about a week, and what I came to understand is one of the misunderstandings happening here in the U.S. is everyone is looking for that moment when there's a news saying that some building was just bombed, or some metro was bombed, or airplane, flew into a building, and they're all like, "Oh my God, Muslims are attacking." That's not it. Every single day, there's an actual act of terror or violence by Muslims everywhere. And now another thing, I'm going to quickly jump back and forth, is another thing is we need to stop being solely concerned about what's happening in the United States, because you need to know what's happening everywhere else in order to be prepared. So when it happens here, you're not completely caught off guard. Meaning, we need to stop just concentrating on, well, this city is getting really bad, that city is still safe. No, you need to realize that Middle East is completely out of control. Completely out of control. You don't actually hear on the news 1/3 of what's happening over there. Not just extremists versus extremists where ISIS is fighting the Muslim Brotherhood, that guy's fighting that one. No, just with normal people in their town. They are being violated every day. They're either being raped, sold to marriages, arrested, going to prison, executed. All that is happening literally daily. So you need to keep yourself educated on those areas too. And then we come to Europe. I literally hear every day, I have my supporters come to my page from Europe sending me news. This just happened, that just happened, this just happened. Every day, the number of rapes are so ridiculously high. It's literally forcing non-Muslims to stay home and not to step out. They're being cornered. Now, on one of my interviews, I did mention that that's the biggest mistake. Don't let them corner you. Push back. I'm not saying fight them physically or be violent, no. But don't give in. Don't stay home. Educate you or prepare yourself to fight back if anybody's trying to rape you. But don't stay home just because you're afraid they're going to. But if you think of it by definition of terror, it's terrorizing people. They are doing that. Now, it may not be happening in the United States. The reason for that is our laws and constitution. It's harder for them to get in. In Europe, they can do that. And pretty much if anybody grabs a gun and shoot them, that person is also going to be, arrested for doing so. Here, not so much. So they have to play it more carefully, but that doesn't mean they're not already here. They're just finding the loophole to figure out how to do it here without us being able to protect ourselves. So that being said, yes, you may hear whatever happens as far as extremely agonizing bombings and attacks, but every day, just take it this way, every single day while you're living your life, one person at least is being violated in Europe and Middle East, and you do not know about it. That would be my answer.
Completely agree with you. I'm actually looking at this great website that everybody would do well to go to and use as a reference. Verify everything on it, but use it as a reference. It's a good starting point. It's called thereligionofpeace.com. Thereligionofpeace.com. It has a list of Islamic terror for the last 30 days. And it says during this time period, there were 145 Islamic attacks in 22 countries in which over 1,600 people were killed and 1,800 people were injured. That's on an international level. And we pretty much hear about all of the acts of violence that happen here in the United States by the media. Now, here's the problem that we have with crimes not reported by the media in the United States. If we want to focus back on that to answer your question even, when I was in the community, in the Islamic Arab crap community, I would have been able to answer that question much better. Here's what happens. When you have a problem in the Islamic family, it is handled by the head of the house, that would be the father. Okay? Now, if it gets out of control for the dad goes to the mosque, he confers with his brethren and his sheikhs and imams and whatever, and they decide what they're going to do with it. If you have a mosque in your area, in your state, understand Sharia has already been getting carried out. Now, you know about all the honor killings that take place, but there is even another evil, perhaps we should say, that is taking place. The people that go missing. These are not people that are usually reported missing. You know, somebody will say that Fatima, for example, Fatma didn't come to school for high school. The school will report it to the police. She's been missing. The police go to the house. Oh, well, Fatima went back to the Middle East or Iran or Pakistan. She's gone to visit family for an extended period of time. Oh, her grandma's sick. Oh, how sad. Fatima's never coming back. She may not have gotten killed, but Fatima's passport was taken away, and she was sent back to that area because she has no rights there, because maybe she showed a little too much heel. Or maybe her ear was showing, or maybe she refused to wear the hijab, or maybe she refused an arranged marriage. That is not to say that once she got there, she didn't get killed. But most of the time, they get there, they get married off, and they're gone. They're disappeared. I've had this happen before with people that I knew or knew of the family, of the community. Aynaz, do you know stories like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have cases wanting community where they just decided to go back to Europe for a visit and decided to stay and never come back.
You know, nobody's going to report it to the police, and the police are not going to go over to the other areas, to the other countries, and investigate it, so it's pretty much a shut file. Case is closed. So, these are the kinds of crimes that cannot be reported by the media, and this is probably the only time I'll ever defend the American media, is these are the kind of crimes that do not get reported to them. Murders, everything else that can go hush-hush, will go hush-hush if Sharia takes place. Because because honor, you have to understand, a Muslim's honor lies between the thighs of his women. And honor is the most important thing to them. And we talked about double definitions before. Honor to us is different than honor to them. Okay? So, if his honor is in question, then he will do anything and everything to make sure that it stays hush-hush, that he keeps control of it, and the community will stay silent. So, that's the answer to the first part of the question. The second part of the question was about House Resolution 569. And I'm just going to read it real quick. For anybody who is not aware of that, I don't know what to tell you except that I made a video about it on December 27th, I believe, shortly after it came out. And this was put out, introduced December 17th, and I'm reading this off of congress.gov. Okay? No conspiracy theories. House Resolution 569 condemning violence, bigotry, and hateful rhetoric towards Muslims in the United States. You don't have to wait for Sharia to come. It's already here. This is Sharia. Speaking against Islam, speaking against Muhammad, and speaking against the Quran and the Hadith and the Sunni is all illegal in Sharia, and now they're trying to make it a law. Now, I would suggest that you look it up. I'm going to put a link. Look it up and look at those representatives. And I've actually tried to reach out to some of them for an interview. None of them wanted to talk to me. I don't know why. I'm such a nice person. Anyways, point is, House Resolution 569 encourages local law enforcement to take action against people like Aynaz and I who are speaking out against Islam. Since when is this okay? We like blasphemy in this country. This is what we do. We like hateful speech. We like people pissing other people off. I mean, for goodness sake, our first act as a country was to get rid of a king. And now we're going to bow down before Sharia? Not on my watch. That'll never happen here. Because you know what? I've lived in the Middle East where you can't say stuff like this. And we have nowhere else to go, for one. For two, this is our country. And although I'm very proud of my Hebrew heritage, and I'm sure Aynaz is very proud of her Persian heritage, this is our country. Do not mistake us. We are patriots, and we will not allow this to happen. That's my answer for 569. You go ahead, Aynaz.
Okay. Well, yeah. It's, in a way, for people, it might be, oh, it's just the talk of it. For people like me and you, we know it means Sharia is already here. Now, I wouldn't be so concerned about it if we didn't have someone named Hussein Obama in the office. But because he's there, I am very concerned about it. Because as soon as it does take place, and I'm not saying if it does, I'm saying as soon as it does, just make sure you get that, it will take place. And when it does, that is when hell is going to break loose. Because this is where the actual meaning of racism is going to start. Until today, me and you were called racist, Islamophobe, bigot, all those lovely names, which none of them actually make me laugh. But the point is, the real meaning of it is going to start. It will get to the point where Americans, as you said, Americans are not going to sit back and just watch it happen. But sadly, they are waiting way too long. They're making sure it happens and then they will attack. Well, why? Why can't we attack it now? Again, I go back to where I say, I am pretty sure it says, we the people. There are way too many ways to turn this down before it even gets to the next step. But no, unfortunately, a lot of fellow Americans prefer to sit back, wait for it to happen, and when it does, then we do something about it. The sad news is you can't. Here's what happened. Again, I go back to history of my country, Iran. Iran turned into Islamic Republic of Iran, and within 2 weeks, the first law came out. You talk against Islam, Muhammad, Allah, or Quran, you'll be in trouble. The first trouble wasn't we're going to kill you. First was we're going to keep you in prison. Then it was we're going to cut your... People got their tongues cut out. Go, as Farrah said, go do your research. We had Iranians who talked against Khomeini, which was the supreme leader, Quran, Allah, Muhammad, anything related to Islam or Sharia law, and their tongues were cut out. And again, it's not because Khomeini was just making things up. No, every law came from Quran. Then it got to where, you know what, we're going to kill you. We're going to kill you. Within 1 year after the revolution, 2,300 people were killed because they spoke against Islam, Sharia, Muhammad, Quran, all that whole shebang. So sad news is we're going to lose a lot of our people before we can stop them. So wake up. Wake up. Put whatever it is you're doing aside. You know, if you're reading a book, I doubt it. watching whatever series it is you're watching a video on YouTube, put it aside, go to that website, read up, then start coming up with plans. Do something.
Our forefathers started shooting over a tax. I can't tell you how much this gets me infuriated. It was a freaking tax that got King George kicked off of his throne. A tax. It's disgraceful and dishonorable. We'll move on to the next question. I have been listening to Jay Sekulow, American Center for Law and Justice. Back in 2015, the soldier had intervened and stopped an Afghanistan officer from sexually assaulting a 12-year-old boy. The Center for American Law and Justice is actually now trying to fight for that soldier. I absolutely am with him, 100%. Aynaz, pretty much the same. The ACLJ is defending him and petitioning the government for reinstatement. I have been listening to some of the former military officers and soldiers call in the ACLJ show and say that in the culture, the women are for reproduction and the boys were for pleasure. Is this true in regards to Afghan culture? In terms of my answer for that question, I don't know a lot about Afghan culture. I have heard this from Afghani people. And this is not something, unfortunately, that is limited to the Afghanis. I've heard it being said, the whole women are for reproduction, little boys are for pleasure. I've heard it in Saudi Arabia. I've heard it in the UAE. I've heard it in Jordan. So it is more than the Afghan culture. Now, what I can tell you is homosexuality is punishable by death in Islam. However, I'm going to go over a couple of verses from the Quran that talk about some of the rewards in heaven for Muslims. Okay, so try and follow with me. This is kind of disgusting, but please hang in there. Chapter 52, verse 24. In Arabic, it says, وَيَطُوفُ عَلَيْهِمْ غِلْمَانٌ لَهُمْ كَأَنَّهُمْ لُؤْلُؤٌ مَكْنُونٌ. In English, the translation from Quran.com is, there will circulate among them servant boys. And servant is in parentheses because it doesn't actually say servant in the ayah, in the verse. So the actual translation of the verse is, there will circulate among them boys for them, as if they were pearls well protected. And then there's another verse, chapter 76:19, that says, وَيَطُوفُ عَلَيْهِمْ وِلْدَانٌ مُخَلَّدُونَ إِذَا رَأَيْتَهُمْ حَسِبْتَهُمْ لُؤْلُؤًا مَنْثُورًا. There will circulate among them young boys made eternal. When you see them, you would think them as beautiful as scattered pearls. I know you probably just vomited in your mouth a little bit, but I'm sorry, we had to answer the questions. So it's apparently a reward in heaven to have little boys running around made eternal. So they will be eternally Peter Pan, eternally a little boy. As far as, this is so hard to talk about. So this is where they can get a fatwa, or this is where they can make it so where it's okay to have a little boy for pleasure. All you, Annie, I have nothing else to say about this.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, it is within the culture of Afghan people. That I know for sure. Now, the reason I know for sure is back in the days, I think it was either first or second grade, a huge number of Afghan people started, migrating to Iran for whatever reason. It was the Osama bin Laden, the Al Qaeda, and all that was happening. So a lot of them were moving to Iran. So we actually I had a couple of friends, a couple of Afghani friends. So I started knowing their culture. Even one of the movie makers in Iran has made a couple of movies about Afghan kids and their life and stuff like that. So I can say for sure, yes, it is. Now, I want to rephrase that to, this is not an Afghanistan culture. This is an Islamic culture. reason. You can add to the list of countries you said, Farrah, Iran and Pakistan. Now, in Iran, it's not practiced as much in a way because between Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Iran, Iran is the more educated, up-to-date country. However, it is very much practiced within the authorities, meaning the supreme leader, the imams, the sheikhs, and all of those leaders. And what you read off of Quran, it's absolutely sickening. Now, here's how it's explained in Shia, because we had to read the explanation of why is it rewarding for your boy to be either gifted to a sheikh or imam, only a sheikh or imam, or to be sent off to war where he be killed for Allah. And the reason for it is, again, I'm just a messenger, don't shoot me. I don't believe in it. But within Islam, as you know, there is an age of 9 for a girl to become a woman, and then it's the boy where there's this argument of between 14 and 16. Now, within the Shia Hadith, it's the 14. So if the boy is under age of 14, he's not a man yet. So you're not committing the crime of homosexuality. You are committing the pedophile crime, which is all right within Quran. So when you're raping an under 14 boy, you're just having a pleasure off of an infant or a kid. There is no sexuality to it yet. Yeah, it's ridiculous, but this is how it's explained in Islamic culture. So under the age of 14, it's all right because God or Allah gave the Muslim man the right to please himself. There is a hadith. Don't ask me. It's just a hadith. I will definitely try to make it and on next episode say which one it is, but it is the one where it says if a Muslim man is stuck in the middle of nowhere and he needs and has the urge of pleasing himself, he can go ahead and use his camel for it. Yeah, I worked so much to keep a straight face on that. It's authorized because Allah says, or no, I'm sorry, the hadith is by Muhammad. Muhammad says, a man cannot have the distraction of the urge of a need for a sexual act and a pleasure because that will make him far from Allah. So when you have the urge, just grab the first thing that comes handy.
I'm sorry, you really
Yeah. No, I mean it for real. This is what they teach, man. It's like, Now, if that first thing handy is a boy who's under age of 14, you're fine. You are completely fine. There are this is really sad. But in Iran, there are these like brainwashed families, mom and dad, who take their little boys to imams as a gift because they think the boy is going to be blessed with the reward of heaven. Like they literally hand their baby to a pedophile to rape because the hadith said so. The same way a father hands her daughter to a pedophile because Muhammad did it. You see, so it's not just the Afghan culture, it's the Islamic culture. It comes with it. I really don't like to say it's a country's culture. I actually had this comment last night that somebody said, again, well, your experiences is because of you personally, your family, and your village. Like, first of all, honestly, Tehran doesn't count as a village. It's a capital country. But okay, fine. But are you kidding me? My experience was exactly. So that's the thing. People need to start even verbalizing it in a way. It's Islamic culture. It has nothing to do with any country. It doesn't matter if it's Iran, if it's Iraq, if it's Afghanistan, Saudi, it doesn't matter. It's a culture of Islam. That's what comes with it. Now, again, if you want to really sit back and let it happen here so you can see it for yourself, well, be my guest. But take my word for it. It's not about a country. It's not about a specific culture. My background comes from Persia. Persian Empire, Cyrus the Great. For God's sake, we used to be the ultimate culture. They came in, invasion happened, brainwash started, boom. Today, sadly, Iranian people are called Muslim.
And that's something we talked about in one of our previous episodes, is when Islam dominates, because Islam, again, it's not a religion, it is a complete system. It's political, it's religious, it's a literal everyday exactly how to live your life down to the detail of how you're supposed to wash your hands. When it takes over, it completely erases your culture.
Forget which food you put down on the bathroom.
Oh yes, of course. Only eat with your right hand, how you put your food in, even, for example, how you step into a house. You have to step in with your right foot, never with your left foot. It's down to the detail, every intricate detail.
Quick question, because this is something on my mind to talk about. I'm very curious to know if it does exist on the Sunni side, but in a Shia side, we actually have this, let's call it funny thing where when a building is being built, that one of the major inspections that happen is to make sure where your toilet is not going to be facing Mecca. Do you have that on Sunni?
Yeah, of course. That's more, you're talking about like Saudi and the Arab Gulf. That's their type of thing. Now, I have never had a building built there, but that sounds about right in those areas. Not so much when you're getting into the Levant, because the Levant is a lot more, or used to be a lot more lenient. Unfortunately, no longer. But when you're talking about Afghan culture, Persian culture, Levant culture, North African culture, do not forget they did have beautiful cultures before Islam came in and wiped it all out. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. These are cultures, I'm talking about everybody, that are rich in music, poetry, food, love, entertainment. These are cultures that were gorgeous. Gorgeous cultures. And I learn every single day more and more and more about how my heritage, my people, used to live before Islam came in. For example, Afghanistan. I read a story the other day, and I got it checked out by multiple resources. Afghanistan used to be Buddhists and Hindus, and women were the council in Afghanistan. Take a look at Afghanistan now. Islam, wherever it goes, it just brings destruction. And, you know, the victim never gets to write history. Never. And wherever Islam went, it victimized a lot of people. And a lot of people got killed, especially when you're talking about the non-Christians and the non-Jews. You think we've got it bad as Christians and Jews? Pagans, Hindus, Sikhs, they had it really bad. A lot worse than any of us have ever had it. Their entire civilizations have gotten wiped out. So, because they don't have to give them in Islam, when Muslims invade, they don't have to give them the choice. They can just kill them. So, that pretty much wraps up episode 4 of Islam question and answers. Aynaz, again, thank you so much for being with me. I love being on your radio show. For people who don't know, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with your radio? I co-host with you every other week.
I know, you're going to be coming on this week. Yay, I'm excited. So we are having the Live Up to Freedom radio program on FPC channel on Blog Talk Radio. It's every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And every other Monday, we have you on the show as a co-host, which would be this Monday. So everybody tune in. You can go to Blog Talk Radio /FPC Radio 2015, and you will see all the episodes. You can listen to them on archive, or for live episode, make sure to tune in every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
It's awesome. And we also are going to continue recording our episodes every single week. Every single week you're going to see an episode. So continue to send in your questions. Again, it's submissions@voxpopuli.news.net. If you would like to help out, we would really appreciate it. We do this for free. So this is our lives. This is all that we do on several different platforms. Aynaz and I spend all day, every day talking to people, whether it's on the phone, Facebook, YouTube. We do everything that we possibly can to educate everyone and get everybody the answers that they need. You can help out financially. You can donate. VoxPopuli.news.net has a PayPal. You can donate there. Any contribution is much appreciated. Live Up to Freedom. We're going to have the site listed right here. You can go there and you can donate, and you have a GoFundMe page. Right, Aynaz?
Oh, we did, but it got shut down. We got reported, and sadly they took it down. So we don't anymore. We do have the PayPal going.
Oh, wow. I wonder how that happened.
I know. Well,
A miracle. So you can go to Live Up to Freedom and you can donate over there. It's used for equipment. It's used for keeping the sites up, and other stuff as well. So thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to submit all of your questions to submissions@voxpopuli.news.net. Visit our site and we'll see you next week.
Life is too short to spend a single moment spinning in laundry worries. Take a load off your mind with the all-new Norwex Powerzyme laundry detergent. This natural detergent harnesses the power of enzymes and plant-based surfactants to leave fabrics fresh and clean without fillers, brighteners, synthetic fragrances, bleach, or harsh chemicals. So go ahead, have your cake and eat it too. More than ever, stressful stains have met their match. Powerzyme's fast-acting enzymes break down organic substances while natural surfactants loosen locked-in dirt and oil, removing residue, stains, and odors with ease. With 91% bio-based ingredients, this dermatologist-tested hypoallergenic formula is suitable for sensitive skin types and delivers a safe and effective clean that won't harm you or the planet's waterways. Less time spent worrying about laundry means you can focus on what truly matters. Norwex Powerzyme Laundry Detergent. Discover the power of nature and load up on confidence.
Tonight on the Worldview Weekend Hour, we continue our study through the book of Daniel. Tonight, Lesson 18, The Verdict, Victor and Victors. The Worldview Weekend Hour begins right now.
WVW-TV presents the Worldview Weekend Hour with Brand